Hi, it's Miika.
And Mary.
And thank you for coming to our video. This video is going to be about the fundamentals of budgeting. We're going to be talking about what we've done for budgeting and kind of the stuff that we've learned, and just kind of give some suggestions about what we think that you should do because it's worked for us. But first, before we begin, make sure you destroy that like button. Hit the subscribe button for us. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you get a notification of when we post a new video. We post videos about budgeting, saving, investing, and travel. So all that type of content is coming. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment below. We want to talk to you in the comment section. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So step one for budgeting is really analyzing your budget. So in order to see the big picture, it's important to see your income and expenses visually. So you need to look at your bank account over the last few months to see what you've spent, and you need to find out if there's anything that you can cut back on that isn't necessary. So you need to make sure you take notes on that, go through and highlight stuff. So I would be looking at extra food expenses, extra purchases that came up that maybe you weren't planning for, random frivolous stuff, coffee. Lots of people like to buy coffee. Bet you don't know how much you're spending on that. So look at stuff like that, go through and look at your bank account over the last few months. Calculate all that up. I bet you'll be surprised.
All right, in step two, you're gonna need to divide up your expenses into fixed and variable cost. Fixed costs are your bills that are gonna happen every month regardless of anything, such as your rent, electricity bill, utility, internet, things like that. And then your variable costs are pretty much everything else, such as groceries, extra activities, gas, clothing, and just any miscellaneous spending that you may incur during the month. Be honest when you're calculating this total, as it needs to be a realistic number, but take out the unnecessary spending.
The third step for doing a proper budget is that you need to calculate approximately what you should and can be saving at the end of every month. So the way to figure that out is your total income that you receive minus your fixed and variable costs, and whatever you come up with at the end equals your savings that you can put towards your emergency fund. Remember in the last video we talked about how you want to build up an emergency fund of about $1,000. It's just the very basic emergency fund. Anything that you're able to save over $1,000 would go toward like a savings account. Last week we talked about opening like a high yield savings account, but that's really the way that you figure out what you can save at the end of each month. You take your total income minus your fixed and variable costs that you've calculated after reviewing your whole budget, and then that tells you what you can save.
All right, for step number 4, you're gonna begin your first month of budgeting. Once you've decided on how much you're going to spend on those variable expenses, groceries, gas, shopping, extra activities, you have to hold yourself accountable to that amount and make sure that you don't go over it. And it's important to make sure you track what you're spending. This will make you more aware of what you're spending, and it'll make you less likely to go over that budget.
If you're paid weekly, you'll need to calculate your fixed and variable expenses along with what you plan to save every week. If you're paid every other week, then you'll need to calculate this every other week, and if you're paid monthly, you'll need to calculate it every month. We also recommend using cash for your variable expenses, so you know exactly how much money you have left to spend and you know exactly how much you've spent. If you're just swiping a card, it's very easy to not know how much you're spending and how much money you have left, so we recommend using real cash. These are kind of the steps that we did when we began budgeting. In the next video, in part 2 of budgeting, whatever, we'll see what the video is called. We'll talk about our trial and error over the first several months of budgeting. Just remember, don't get discouraged. It's going to take time to get this right and kind of get used to the whole process. But the key is consistency. Just like with everything in life, being consistent is what makes you successful. So that's all we got for you. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below, and we will get back to you and answer those questions. Thank you.